Welcome to GSA Connectscast. We're here in Anaheim kicking off what promises to be an incredible week here at GSA Connects. This broadcast will give you exclusive insights into the activities and sessions ahead, from groundbreaking scientific research to discussions shaping the future of geosciences. Throughout the day, we'll be bringing you video interviews with event leadership, giving you a behind-the-scenes look at their vision for this year's meeting, as well as reactions from attendees who are excited to share their thoughts on what makes this gathering just so special. Stay tuned, there is so much more to explore.
Well, the GSA Connects 2024 helped me to improve my knowledge about my own project, also helped me to connect with people of the area and to know seniors and other researchers involved in the different projects, to learn the diversity in this type of events, and also to enjoy Anaheim here in Los Angeles, of course.
Coming to GSA Connects is a great opportunity for me as an undergraduate student to come and learn about what jobs are actually out there and to find what I can do next with my research project that I came here with.
It's definitely helping with my public speech skills, because I'll be presenting a poster tomorrow, and it's really nice to connect with other professionals and hear their thoughts, their inputs, their questions they might have. They're also preparing me for my own thesis, exit talk, because they'll be grilling me with some questions, right? And so they can kind of mentally prepare me for that kind of stuff. So I think that is one huge aspect, at least for me, how GSA Connects is helping me.
We have to network together, and this meeting is a place that you can do it. So you've got people from the USGS, you've got people from state surveys like where I work, you've got people from industry, you've got people from academics, and it takes networking across disciplines in sort of a more multifunctional way to really address and get at these problems.
Next, we're excited to highlight the Montana Bureau of Mines and Geology, showcasing their cutting-edge research in earthquake monitoring, geologic mapping, energy development, and groundwater. Get ready to explore how MBMG's vital work impacts both Montana and the broader geoscience community. Let's dive into their groundbreaking projects.
The core of everything that we do, the basis of what we do at the Montana Bureau of Mines and Geology, is geologic mapping at various scales for various purposes, but that serves as the basis of just about everything we do.
Montana is growing in population, and as a result of that, our land use is changing. So we're going from agricultural lands that's typically irrigated to residential development. So people want to know, do we have enough water? And do we have enough water not just for now, but also to sustain the growth in the future?
Mapping groundwater on such a large scale is just a really unique opportunity in and of itself. And the cool thing about it is, in a lot of cases, we're the first people to kind of go in and do groundwater work in some of these areas. And so in that sense, it's just really exciting. It's kind of a new frontier. There's been a lot of work done in Montana, but it's such a big state. There's just constantly more stuff to do. And we're seeing effects of, climate change and population growth and kind of all of these factors that, require more studies. And so it's just kind of an exciting field to be in, going into places that, maybe haven't been studied before and collecting that data.
So as we map the state, we find lots of surprises. We often stumble across new faults that we didn't know were there. It's important to study the tectonic history of the state because the modern risk of earthquakes is related to the old, ancient history of tectonics. So we have to look at old structures and see if there's any potential for those to be reactivated as new earthquakes. So we're always looking at this and kind of trying to untangle the new from the old. Working in Montana is great for geologists. We have a huge diversity of geology, and there's been enough groundwork laid in the past 100 years that you sort of have a framework to work with, but there's not been so much work that you know what to expect. So we're always getting surprises and uncovering these sort of hidden gems.
Montana is a treasure state, so we've got a good solid history of mining in Montana, but again, recent interest in economic development for critical minerals and those kinds of things has prompted us to expand our economic geology program. The Butte ore body for the last 100 and some years has produced critical minerals in support of defense, World War I, World War II, and of course energy development with copper and molybdenum. What we're finding now is Butte's going to continue to do that into the next 100 years with the extraction of critical minerals from some of the wastewaters, Berkeley Pit in particular. Our role in that is to characterize the water, characterize the waste in Butte, and of course we have excellent knowledge of the geology and mineralogy of the ore district. So we can bring all of that to bear to help develop some of these extraction technologies. What sets state surveys apart, whether it be Montana or anywhere else, is our ability to work with the public and do public education.
Another unique opportunity I have is just getting to work with Montana landowners. Just a fun experience. You get to meet people from all walks of life, you know, people that you may not meet otherwise, and it's just fun. You get to kind of make friends across the whole state and then just really engage with people and talk to them about groundwater, and people really are great and are interested in it. You know, they're landowners, they're using their wells and they're super interested in it, and so it's just fun to talk about that with them.
Whenever we go into a particular area, whether it be for geologic mapping or especially our groundwater program, our first contact are the water right holders or the well owners or the landowners or whoever has the resource to make sure that they understand what we're working on and the value of it to them as well as to the state.
With the Bureau growing, we do have a lot of research opportunities, and actually just recently we've made a number of hirings in the critical mineral area, economic geology, groundwater. We've actually hired some hydrogeologists, so there's opportunity there. So the luxury of our job is we get to ask big scientific questions, and you don't get that luxury when you're working in the private sector. We're giving the science to the state of Montana, and that's a really good feeling.
Up next, we're showcasing the USGS-USAID Volcano Disaster Assistance Program, a life-saving initiative that helps to monitor volcanic activity worldwide and provides rapid response to eruptions. Stay tuned as we dive into how VDAP's cutting-edge science and global partnerships protect communities from devastating volcanic hazards.
Volcanoes are complicated, and they're all behaving in slightly different ways. And so it's useful to be able to look at different aspects of what's going on and to be able to put the information together to come up with an understanding of what's happening. The purpose of VDAP is to make sure that volcanic eruptions don't become volcanic disasters. Our focus is to support volcano observatories through a combination of in-country or virtual support during volcanic eruptions or unrest, and long-term capacity building through donations and training.
In eruption forecasting, we have a variety of different tools we can use to measure processes that we can't see, things that are happening beneath the surface. And the best forecasts bring all of those data together to try to create the best, most complete picture we can of what's happening beneath the surface. So a multidisciplinary forecast is a forecast that combines seismic information, geodetic information, gas emissions, infrasound, even visual observations, cracks that are opening at the surface, sounds that people are hearing, putting all that together to create a complete picture of what's happening.
Monitoring volcanic gases is really challenging, and there's multiple reasons for that. The goal is to have something that's small, relatively inexpensive, that doesn't take a lot of power, that is going to give you data with high analytical quality, that's also going to survive in some of the harshest environments on Earth. So our volcanoes tend to be 10,000 feet tall, covered in snow and ice, and very inhospitable and difficult to get to. And so what we did is we built a lot of automation into our instruments. And so, for example, our instruments, we deploy them with full meteorological stations, so we understand the wind direction and how that might influence the gases that are being transported to the stations. We also deploy them with standard gases. And so rather than a technician having to go up and check that all the sensors are working, it does it automatically once a month. And so we leverage that technology in order to get data that is objectively of high quality, and it also reduces the manual workload on our small staff.
I've been working in Indonesia for about a decade now, and have helped our counterparts there implement volcanic gas monitoring at a number of very active volcanoes. At Sinabung, we found that gas emissions decreased in the days leading up to explosive events. We attributed that decrease to a sealing of the conduit, which led to pressurization and eventually explosion. And we were able to use that information, the decrease in gas emissions, to develop a probabilistic forecast for an explosion occurring on any given day. Since the geochemical monitoring techniques are relatively new, there's a lot of need for assistance with not only instrumentation, but also expertise on how to use the instruments and data interpretation. VDAP has generous support from USAID, which allows us to help our partners in implementing these types of monitoring techniques for geochemical processes. And so besides donating instruments to our partners, we also sponsor workshops and organize those where we bring together volcanic gas geochemists from all over the world to train on instrumentation and also talk about data interpretation and how to use these data in conceptual models and eruption forecasts.
One of the ways that we assist the community is to try and develop good protocols for the entire volcano community in all countries. And we can bring them together and we can talk about what's the best way to report data, how do we communicate our findings with the public, what's the best protocols to have in the case of a crisis. We can work on alarming software. So all sorts of things that we can do as a community that benefits everybody.
Well, the GSA Connects 2024 helped me to improve my knowledge about my own project, also helped me to connect with people of the area and to know seniors and other researchers involved in the different projects, to learn the diversity in this type of events, and also to enjoy Anaheim here in Los Angeles, of course.
Coming to GSA Connects is a great opportunity for me as an undergraduate student to come and learn about what jobs are actually out there and to find what I can do next with my research project that I came here with.
It's definitely helping with my public speech skills because I'll be presenting a poster tomorrow. And it's really nice to connect with other professionals and hear their thoughts, their inputs, their questions they might have. They're also preparing me for my own thesis, exit talk, because they'll be grilling me with some questions, right? And so they can kind of mentally prepare me for that kind of stuff. So I think that is one huge aspect, at least for me, how GSA Connects is helping me.
We have to network together, and this meeting is a place that you can do it. So you've got people from the USGS, you've got people from state surveys like where I work, you've got people from industry, you've got people from academics, and it takes networking across disciplines in sort of a more multifunctional way to really address and get at these problems.
Welcome to GSA Connects in Anaheim. Up next, we're spotlighting the Oregon Department of Geology and Mineral Industries, or DOGAMI. From landslide research to coastal preservation, DOGAMI's groundbreaking work is shaping Oregon's landscape and communities. Let's dive into how they're making a lasting impact on the Pacific Northwest.
I'm Rory Day-Stewart. I'm the Executive Director of the Oregon Department of Geology and Mineral Industries and the Oregon State Geologist. I oversee all agency policy, function, and business and budget, and so my job is to look as far down the road as possible and develop new areas for the Geological Survey and for the Mineral Lands Regulation and Reclamation Program.
One of the program's main function is to ensure that mining activities, which is an ultra-hazardous activity, don't cause adverse environmental impacts or off-site harm to the environment. We also ensure that mined lands are reclaimed to what we call a secondary beneficial use, which means that they go back to some functional state for the state of Oregon.
Reclamation can entail a number of things. Sites can be reclaimed to a post-mining beneficial use. That could be anything from fish and wildlife habitat to, say, an industrial lot for future industrial development. Mining is often one of those things that happens under the radar. It is not necessarily one of the cooler things in the geology fields, but it's certainly one of the things that is vital to our economy. It's vital to our nation and our commerce. There's bigger and broader benefits to the work that we do, and we see those benefits on a day-to-day basis.
I guess being an engineering geologist, it kind of invokes two whys for me. One is understanding landslides better, and the other is then helping the citizens of Oregon understand that hazard and reduce risk to it. We do research on landslides, but figuring out how often they may occur and where they may occur, and then transferring that information to the public so that they can understand the hazard as well, and then actually working with them on how to reduce risk from that hazard.
One thing that's really great about DOGAMI is their supportive staff and encouraging staff to do what they see is right and what is going to do the most to support our mission of helping keep Oregon safe and prosperous. And so there's been a lot of support when I say I think something needs to get done. I'm getting support from management to figure out how to make that happen.
I think the piece that differentiates DOGAMI from other geologic research institutes or institutions is going to be the sustained engagement and the continued work that is in the public's interest. I get to work and get to look at maps and look at reports that were written in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, 70s, like almost 100 years of research that I get to rely on in order to present the information. So, and then thinking that the work that I'm getting to do is going to contribute to that long-term sustained engagement of supporting the mission of DOGAMI and supporting the people of Oregon.
Right now, we're at the Oregon Paleolands Institute Interpretive Center in Fossil, Oregon. We are currently in the process of mapping landslides and looking at hazards and risks related to landslides in multiple counties in eastern Oregon. And particularly in areas east of the Cascades, we want to be able to have those open channels of communication between communities and the agencies so we understand the community needs and the community is able to benefit from the work that we do.
In my day-to-day, I manage an exceptional group of about 20 scientists and analysts that are engaged in looking at natural hazards, geologic mapping, and understanding the state's mineral and energy resources. So Oregon has the potential to host a number of critical mineral resources, in particular lithium, which is important for making electric batteries. We now know that that type of resource exists in Southeast Oregon in a place called McDermott. And so we're now focusing a lot of our geologic mapping on understanding McDermott, how the lithium resource formed, and how it might be produced into the future to meet both Oregon's resource and the nation's resource needs.
Welcome back to the GSA Connectscast. I'm Kira Gurnay, and I have two very exciting people with me here who've decided to take a few minutes out of their fantastic schedule at the convention to answer a couple of questions for us. This is geologists and geo-influencers, Luisa Hendry and Codi Lazar. Welcome. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Well, I've got the first big question for you, and this is, as a professional geologist and a geology communicator, how does your work support expanding the interest in the geosciences? How do you think what you do helps get people more interested?
I think for me, it's something that I noticed was missing from the social media world, and that's why I started doing it. For me, it's really important to get that message out there because I feel like geology can be sometimes a forgotten subject, and you need to, get it out there and on platforms that people wouldn't have thought about before, and that's why I started doing what I do.
Very good. And you've been quite successful. You've got just a few followers?
Yeah, I've got
just a few
across all platforms. There's 420,000 people that follow me, and it grew very quickly. I'm known as Scottish Geologist on social media, and I make videos primarily to do with the geology of Scotland, which is, the home birth, the home place of geology. It's really fascinating and interesting, and there's so much you can see in Scotland, and I just felt like there's not anything out there that does that, especially on social media. And nowadays, I think you'll agree with me, that most people they're glued to their phones, so
right.
They're swiping through, and if we're not getting that message out there, and we're not getting geology out there, then it's going to get worse over time, and there's going to be less and less people that go to university to study it, and that's why I started doing what I do, and it's growing not out of control, but it's growing arms and legs, and now I'm here.
Well, you can only watch so many cat videos, right?
I know, yeah.
So you got to watch something else. So,
I don't know, there's never enough cat videos.
Or dog videos.
Or dog videos, right?
My dogs in my videos.
We could start a whole other debate about this. So do you guys have any advice for geoscientists who may be interested in sharing their own geological experiences on social media? What would you tell them?
The first thing is just to start doing it. My motto is it takes 5 years for anything to be successful. You just have to start putting in the time. Of course, Luisa, I feel like it took you about a year. You shot like a rocket, which is great to see. But for most people, it just takes time, and everybody starts with 0 followers, and before you know it, you'll have followers, and you have to find your voice.
Yep.
And you don't really know what's going to work. There's no formula. You just start doing stuff. And the great thing about social media, it's like this grand experiment. You just barf out stuff into the world, and if it's good, people will respond, and you'll know if it's good because they'll just, you just know because they like it and they share it, and so it's like this signal from the world that you're doing something that they like, and you're not going to know that sitting at home on your couch thinking about it. You have to just start doing it.
Yeah, go to it for sure. I would agree with everything that you've just said, and as well I would say that you need to be yourself. It doesn't matter what other people think of you. If you're passionate about what you do and you're really passionate about geology and you want to spread the message and get it out there, then do it. Just go do it. That's what I do. Be yourself, be authentic, just go for it, and don't get caught up in, if it takes 2 years, if it takes 1 year, if it takes 5 years. If you're truly passionate about that, then go for it. It might take time, it might happen overnight, you never know. Just get the message out there, promote geology as much as you can.
Thank you guys both for being with us here today. It was really interesting to hear from you, and I look forward to seeing more of your social media posts while you're here at the convention.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thanks, Kira.
Enjoy your GSA Connects, and we'll be back with more. GSA Connects brings together just the whole international geoscience community. So what are some of your favorite aspects about GSA Connects, and how do you think that GSA can continue to support the professional geoscience community?
Well, our science is truly global, right? We have one planet Earth,
So it's incredibly important that we have these opportunities to be learning from one another. And the GSA Connects meeting is a perfect example of that. You know, coming from the perspective of a geological survey, we have the benefit of being able to interact both within the U.S. With all of the state geological surveys and globally with the state geological survey organizations that share a similar mission to us. And so having these places where we're coming together, we're interacting, and then of course the engagement with the academic community, both with our many, many academic partners, but also again that next generation. And I think that's what makes me really excited about a meeting like this. I, of course, as a longtime GSA member, I love getting to see familiar faces, but it's just so exciting to see that next generation, to see all of the exciting science they're doing, how they're working across disciplines, and I think the energy that they bring to helping us solve these really challenging problems that the geosciences are well suited to address.
Absolutely. It's like working on a project and then getting fresh eyes to come in and take a look with you.
Exactly.
And see what they have to say.
Exactly.
Right?
Very
exciting
inspiring.
stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us today, David.
Well, thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, and go see those familiar faces. I know there's a lot in the hall today. Everybody looks like they're having a great time already and very excited.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thank you. That wraps up today's edition of GSA Connectscast. A huge thank you to all of our incredible interviewees who joined us earlier today sharing their invaluable insights into the ever-evolving field of geosciences. The ideas and discoveries discussed will undoubtedly shape the conversations here at the meeting and drive the future of our industry forward. For those of you just tuning in or looking to catch up on what you missed, be sure to check out all the content on the TVs around the Convention Center and on GSA's social media platforms. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon for more updates and interviews right here on GSA Connectscast.